this might be like how you do one thing is how you do all things. And so if you're like, oh, I'll do it later, then I'm like, you probably operate out of that mindset over a lot of things in your life. And that's probably the reason why you know you need to do this now. And again, I'm hitting on this point and being thorough with you right now because I don't want you to stay stuck. I don't want you to break integrity and break confidence within yourself over the desires and then your actions. Because the desire says I want to be porn free, but the action's like, it's going to cost me. And the truth is, yes, it should. This should challenge you. This should make you uncomfortable. This should make you be like, crap, I actually have to take action right now, because if it was convenient, you would never be addicted to porn in the first place. If it was comfortable, you wouldn't be here right now to quit. But you're going to have to face and learn to do hard things. And guess what? I absolutely believe in you. I know that you can do it. No one's ever died because they try to surrender things to the Lord. In fact, many people end up struggling perpetually throughout their entire lives because they never learn how to truly let go, trust, yield, and step in with a level of God-fidence, where it's confidence in God.
You like this, you like being daddy's arms with microphones down. You like being a worker. You're made for the camera. Both my boys are.
Hey, this video you are about to watch is a part of a series where I show you how to quit porn the right way. So do yourself a favor, binge on all of this content, all the videos that you possibly can, because who knows, maybe if the value and the trust is built together over this journey, you'll want to jump into a community that I call Fit for Family. Or maybe you think these videos suck, and that's also fair too. But nonetheless, there's only one way for us to find out. So enough of me, let's get back to serving you, and let's get back to the video. I want to lead us on an exercise right now of actually surrendering all of this to God and stepping in with the right heart posture in terms of quitting porn. Now, I heard a friend of mine once say that you can't teach someone how to surrender. You can't teach someone how to trust. It's a very personal one-to-one experience with God. And I absolutely believe that to be true. That is a very, very personal, deep, intimate experience between us and God, releasing things to Him. But I do believe that it's teachable. I do believe that we can learn how to do it. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to get either a piece of paper and a pen and a lighter, I'm going to explain, or I want you to get a balloon and a Sharpie. Now, this is going to be less of something that you take like 4 seconds to do, and I actually want you to make an event of this. So I'm not going to have you just pause and do this right after the video. I want you to feel like there's a lot of intentionality to this, where it's not just like a quick, I want to do it to, go play recess and just finish the homework assignment in class, not that kind of frame. I actually want this to be an encounter, an exchange, and an experience that you have with God. So you're more than welcome to do it right at the end of this video, but more what I mean about that is I want this to feel like a moment in which you really share something with God, because so many of us, man, we're holding on. We're operating out of control, out of fear, out of anxiety, out of overwhelm, right? We're operating out of such a sense of, I need to control everything, and I have such a hard time letting go. Maybe there's so much control about you quitting porn, you're like, I fear giving up, I fear surrendering, or I fear letting God in, or I fear, just putting in the work and feeling like I only have to trust in Him. Maybe that's what you need to release. And so many of us, because of struggling with porn, we have unmet goals, dreams, desires that God's put in us because of porn. It could be about confidence, connection, right? Feeling worthy, feeling lovable, breaking shame. It could be for family. Maybe you're single and you've been struggling with being single, and you're 60 years old and your first marriage failed, and then you've had a slew of dating relationships that didn't work, and you feel like everyone's against you. And there might be things that we need to surrender here. And so one of the most beautiful things that we could do with God is actually let go. Again, this is a heart posture to set you forward, because some people might be asking, like I've had a lot of people ask me, Matt, you talk about surrender, you talk about trust, you talk about how that's so necessary for living a whole and healthy life just in general. And I don't know how to do that. And so I want to lead you, because sometimes when we talk about these things, these words, these ideas, it's like, Matt, this is theory. This is very ambiguous or obscure, or it's ethereal. Like, I want the rubber to meet the road. And so I want to lead you on an exercise and having an experience that I'm going to explain to you right now that I think will be really beautiful, really fun, very powerful, and has an opportunity for you to meet God in a very, very unique way. So what you're going to need for this is you are going to need a piece of paper. I'm going to give you one of two options. You can use a piece of paper and a pen, or what you can do is get a balloon and use a Sharpie. Now, let me explain. Here's what I want to do is I think that having a visual is super helpful when we talk about surrender, because otherwise it's just words in our mind or just verbalizing kind of like meh. But we need to see it. We need to be really, really crystal clear on what we're letting go of. And there's nothing greater than being able to trust God with it. And so one exercise that I've done in my experience of being able to release things to God and let go and offset the weight and offset the shame and offset the baggage is by doing this exercise. And so what I'm going to do is I got a balloon here. Don't ask me why I have, see, it's a helium balloon. Don't ask me why I have helium in my house, but 3 kids, birthday parties, it just kind of comes with the package. So I would recommend, if you're going to use a balloon, get a helium balloon. Go to the dollar store. It's going to be like a couple dollars, and you'll be able to fill it all up. Again, I want you to have like a moment here. Really, really cool. And so what I want you to do is I want you to write on your balloon or write on your paper, and I want you to write out the things that you know in your heart you need to surrender to the Lord right now. And so maybe for every single one of us, it's quitting porn. And so I'm going to write it here on this balloon, quitting porn. Amazing penmanship. I am a calligraphist. I don't know if that's how you say it, but calligraphy. So quitting porn. You're going to write that down. Maybe something that you want to yield and surrender is family. Maybe you're single. Maybe you're 60 years old. Maybe you've never had, a wife and kids. Maybe you lost them because of this porn addiction, and you want to be able to release that. And so you're going to write all these things. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and think about all the things that you want to be releasing, right? Maybe you want to release, because it's become an idol, it's become a fantasy for you to quit porn, the identity, right? Whoops, I'm not writing identity right on this balloon right now. Identity with quitting porn. And you're like, this has really been a big source of identity for me. And so what I want you to do is get a balloon, get a piece of paper, and start to write all these things down. And once you do, I want you to have an opportunity to really connect with God. And so what that means is you're going to go, whether you want to go right after this or you're going to do it, later, tomorrow, tonight, it doesn't matter. And I want you to bring all these things to God, and I want you to talk to him about it. Have a dialogue, have a conversation. And I want you to begin to just audibly speak out the things that have been weighing on you, pressing on you. And maybe you need to even just ask for forgiveness, just say, God, I haven't been trusting you. I'm so sorry. And start walking down that road of just authentic dialogue with your Heavenly Father, letting him know about the things that have been weighing on you, the struggle, being like, I'm letting go of hopelessness. I've been learning that there's things that I can do, that I can get educated, I can gain knowledge, I can gain wisdom, and I'm just letting go of feeling victim to this. Write that down. Put it on the balloon. Now, if you have a piece of paper, I'm going to recommend you do this at night, because what's going to be super powerful for you, and if you want to do both, you can absolutely do both, is you're going to write these things down, and if you do it at nighttime, you're going to get a lighter, and you're going to light it on fire. You're going to read out all of that, and you're going to release it to God. Don't do it indoors or like in your apartment, because the smoke detectors and sprinklers might go off and your whole building will get evacuated. So use some common sense here. And so, I will do this exercise and I will release it outside. Now, I'm going to give a little caveat and disclaimer, and I apologize to Mother Nature and the earth, as I've only done it a few times. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can definitely release it in your own home. And so it can just stay at the ceiling until, the helium runs out or something like that, or just use a paper, pen, and, a lighter. But what I'll do is I'll take a moment, I'll go outside, I'll walk with God, I'll talk, I'll pray into these things, I'll explain and convince myself why I can't hold on to this anymore, and really get into my heart about it. Not just my head, but really into my heart. And then when I'm ready and I feel the peace of God over praying into these things, releasing and trusting him more and saying, I give it up, I let go, I yield, I surrender. I don't want to be focused on the outcome. I want to be focused on the process, right? I want to be focused on who I'm becoming and not just the end result one day. I don't want to idolize the end goal. I want to be able to worship you and live my heart and life out in a way that honors you day to day. And then when you have that peace, what you're simply going to do is you're going to let it go. You're going to release the thing that's been holding you hostage. Because what I've seen in my life is that when I'm holding on to control, I'm holding on to scarcity, the overwhelm, addicted to the uncertainty of the situation, and I refuse to let go. There's resistance with me letting go. It's where I block clarity, I block favor, and I block the blessing of God in my life. It's what's going to trump and steal and take away your ability and my ability to receive from God, to have connection, to have love, to have favor, to have blessing and enjoyment, is when we're operating out of control. And so again, although this isn't necessarily the biggest strategy in terms of quitting porn, it's the foundation, it's a frame that's really, really solid. Because if we could go the rest of the journey, but if we're still operating out of a sense of control, of our own dependency, and trying to do this all by ourselves in the flesh, we're not going to get it right. We're going to mix it up. And so although we're going to be using heavenly tactics, we're going to be using demonic methods. Because Lucifer is the fallen angel who thought that he could do this on his own. He thought he didn't need anybody. He thought that he was fine to do this all by himself, and he wasn't. So it might be one of two things for you. And I'm curious to hear what camp you're in. Maybe you're in the camp of people that it's like, I don't need God, I don't need others, I can do this all by myself. And you got to recognize that you actually need people, that you really, really need people. And so maybe what you need to give up, yield, and surrender is your belief that you can do this all on your own. Maybe if you look at your life and the conduct of it, the emotions, how lonely you feel, the shame, how disconnected you feel, how unseen and unknown and unloved you feel, is because you've been trying to do this all by yourself. And maybe the flip side is you've been so needy and codependent with God in an unhealthy way, where you're so dependent that you're like, God, take this from me, fix this. And you're like, I actually need to let go of the victim mindset and learn that I can do hard things, that I can step into something difficult. And you have that moment with God. Again, prayerfully pray through it with God, not just praying about it, and write these things down. Make it meaningful. Make it feel like it really strikes a chord with you. And then when you're ready, have an experience, an exchange. And I believe God will meet you there. Have him speak to you. Ask him to talk to you about this. Really invite him in, and not just like, oh, God, I invite you in, but it's more about the conscious, deliberate act and intention of just saying, Lord, we are doing this together. I want to walk side by side with you. I don't want to do this all on my own. I don't want to be so codependent that I feel like you have to rescue me every 5 seconds, because I know you want to lead me and develop me and grow me. And I also don't want to be in a place where I think I can do this absent of you. You might need to do a merge and a blend of both of those, or just one of those, depending on where you're at. And you can definitely dialogue with the people around you or whoever's with you about that if you'd like, or your friends or whatever's coming up. But do this exercise. I know it's going to be massively and wildly powerful. Now, here's what I'll say is that statistically speaking, it's going to be on the lower side of people who actually do this exercise. And the reason why I share that is because I actually believe that there's something so powerful in your life that you're going to do it. You know, this might be the uncomfortable action that you need to take to start seeing real results in your life. You know, one of the reasons that I have a life that few people are living in terms of being porn-free for 11 years is because I've taken actions that few people are willing to take. And this is one of them. And so this is one of those things where we could just be like, oh yeah, good concept, or I'll do it in my heart, or I'll write it on my phone, then delete it. It's not the same. You want to, and you're like, well, I don't want to get uncomfortable, and I don't want to have to, you know, find paper. I don't have a lighter, and we're like, oh, it's inconvenient. Or we're like, oh, well, I don't have balloons. You know, I'm definitely not going to go to the store and buy one. And I'm like, well, maybe you should. Maybe you should. Maybe you actually need to partner with God and make it a date. Make it an exchange. Make it an encounter. Make it like a thing. Make it a big deal. Make it a ceremony for yourself. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen people do this over the years. Usually they light something on fire, because not everyone has a helium balloon or helium tanks in their house like I do somehow. But it's wildly powerful. The amount of people have just seen in puddles of tears, crying, just so affected, so enamored by God to be like, wow, I didn't know that I could have this form of release in my life. And again, it's not about that. And if you don't feel something when you do it, that's okay too. But I'm telling you right now, this might be like how you do one thing is how you do all things. And so if you're like, oh, I'll do it later, then I'm like, you probably operate out of that mindset over a lot of things in your life. And that's probably the reason why you know you need to do this now. And again, I'm hitting on this point and being thorough with you right now because I don't want you to stay stuck. I don't want you to break integrity and break confidence within yourself over the desires and then your actions. Because the desire says I want to be porn free, but the action's like, it's going to cost me. And the truth is, yes, it should. This should challenge you. This should make you uncomfortable. This should make you be like, crap, I actually have to take action right now, because if it was convenient, you would never be addicted to porn in the first place. If it was comfortable, you wouldn't be here right now to quit. But you're going to have to face and learn to do hard things. And guess what? I absolutely believe in you. I know that you can do it. No one's ever died because they try to surrender things to the Lord. In fact, many people end up struggling perpetually throughout their entire lives because they never learn how to truly let go, trust, yield, and step in with a level of God-fidence, where it's confidence in God, confidence in yourself and the abilities he's given you, but understanding that the source of it has always been our Heavenly Father. So do this exercise, let it rock your world. You can share about it with your group or share about it, however you see fit, but I'd love to know about how this exchange goes for you, what you gain from it, what it's done in your life to help you get from where you are to more of where you want to be. I love you tons, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, real quick, if you like that video that you just saw, or if you want to see even better videos than this in a series that I made called Annihilate Porn to help guys or girls like you quit porn, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't forget any alerts, comment, like, all that jazz, and more importantly, check out the next video that's going to take you even further on the journey from where you are to where you want to be. I love you tons. I'll catch you in the next one.